Um, well, I guess I wanted to do maybe a series of blogging my books, video slash pod slash. I'm just going to throw this on YouTube cast. One of the questions that I want to focus on from Fear to Faith, my latest collaborative, well, my first collaborative effort, as a matter of fact, um, with fellow author and co-editor Travis Milam. One of the things that I wanted to focus on is the assembly of voices. One of the questions asked is whether or not we had a focus. Even some of the contributors said, "Well, I just don't feel like mine measures up to so and so," and it was odd because the ones that didn't feel like they measured up to author B would say the same thing about author A. So, the philosophy. I want to explain the philosophy. The philosophy of the book was simple. Uh, no one voice will ever satisfy me anymore as the voice of Christianity, the voice of what it means to have this certain experience. And so going forward, the philosophy of the editors was that we take in different voices. So some of them had traumatic experiences, some of them had um, physical experiences, and some of them just woke up one day and go, I simply cannot believe this stuff anymore. This is wackadoodle. So when you read, you'll read some that had these deeply moving, emotional, spiritual experiences that moved them out of where they formerly were to embrace the more robust faith. Then you also read some more academic sounding essays. One of the things that I included was a short paper on King James onlyism. I started to read a book, which is again the most dangerous thing you can give a fundamentalist is a book. The Bible in English by David Daniel. And it went through how the Bible in English came about. And lo and behold, it was not as divinely as inspired as the King James onlyists would have us believe. So, through this is a massive volume, and I do recommend you actually getting the book. But one of the things that was significant is the King James itself was never meant to replace for all time English Bibles. The editors, the preface says, many translations are good to bring out the accurate sense. And yet we had, since the 1930s, developed this notion that only the King James was good. And even it has moved further to the right by saying that only the Cambridge edition of the King James, the pure text, the so-called pure text, was good. And then you get into this sort of British Israelism. It's very Anglo-centric. By Anglo-centric, I mean God was white, God spoke English, preferably Shakespearean English, and that's how he chose to bring about his people and his word, I guess. So it's you start to look at that and you go, well, that's a little crazy, and you're like, duh. And so we have some other essays, one by Daniel Ortiz about theology and academia, and one by Mike Bedler, or Beedler. Mike, you're going to have to forgive me in pronouncing that name. I know it's German, but it's not Bieber, right? All right. Anyway, so his originally appeared on the BioLogos forum, and this was about young Earth creationism and moving away from that and in science and evolution and that into a reasonable faith. You can actually have reasonable faith. Faith from reason. We see a lot of that where fundamentalists say no, militant atheist says no. But this book actually shows through the various voices you can have a reasonable, well-grounded faith, spiritual experience, spirituality that points you and to God and still has so much room for doubt. I don't know where I got it from. I wish I could find it. If you Google it, you'll see several different people have said it. But my motto for the last couple of years has been faith needs doubt like children need water. I mean, like love. Children needs love. Just think about the garden. Um, but the idea is that love makes children grow. It develops them. It expands them. And sometimes it's not the easiest thing. Sometimes it's rather difficult. Children don't understand punishment and groundings and discipline. And that's where doubt comes in. It expands us and grows us and moves us forward. So when you read this, you'll see a variety of voices that have experienced and made use of doubt. You do not have to believe in a God that is absolutely controlling or sovereign or has to have his finger in everything. His in finger. That's rather odd. To believe in God, the divine, something higher than us, something we cannot explain. And it's okay to live there in that gray area. And it's okay to be conservative. And it's okay to be liberal. And it's okay to be a Christian and still go, but I don't know why I am still a Christian. And that's why I wanted to assemble a collection of voices. We have conservatives, we have liberals, we have those who have approached it from the intellectual mindset, we have those who have approached it from the experiential mind or experiential events. We have some who go, I believe, don't know what I believe, but I believe. And we have others who go, I'm still very skeptical. Myself, I bow to Christian tradition. I'm a conservative when it comes to Christian tradition, which is odd, But I still rather that doubt of going, I'm not going to explain why I believe. I believe in God. I have some things to hold on to there. But in the end, my belief in God and what I see as the evidences of God far outweigh any of the angst and doubt that came after my fall from grace, if you will. I think that each of us in there will explore in some way the God that we had was really a God that was given to us in a box, neatly wrapped, with all answers given. You can't, and it's all answers because you can't ask questions. Questions are of the devil. So we got this God, and as we moved on to our adult life, we began to unwrap that God, and the box was empty. We didn't like the present, and we tried to return it, and come to find out, we never had any present to begin with. Not that there isn't a God. It's just that the God that was in the box that was handed to us wasn't the God that we have come to believe in, hope for, suspect may be out there, or in some ways we don't like, but we still believe in. And that's, again, why we have that collection of voices. We have a variety of voices. We have a variety of voices because we have a variety of people going through a variety of transitions, variety of approaches to God, a variety of approaches to life. And so I'm hoping that you will find a voice that speaks to you. Not all of them will, but I'm hoping at least one will. Thank you, and we'll see what we do next time.